Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this session, Decoding Azure OpenAI Costs and Capacity Challenges. My name is Anna. I'm an event planner for Reactor, joining you from Redmond, Washington. Before we start, I have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to review our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Keep an eye on the chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters to answer live at the end of the session. The session is recorded and will be available to view on demand in 24 to 48 hours. I'll now turn it over to our presenters. Thank you.
Hi, Dudi. How are you?
Hey, Hemant. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning as well. Thank you. Thank you, audience, for joining. And myself and Dudi will be presenting to you Decoding Azure OpenAI Cost and the Capacity Challenges. My name is Hemant, and I'm actually the Global Head of Solution Architecture team with 2B Cloud. Dudi, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Hemant. I'm Dudi. I'm a Finops team leader on Dudi Cloud in the last 1.5 years.
Awesome. So with that, we'll dive deeper into the cost and the capacity challenges. Like I said, I'm the global head of the solution architecture team with the 2B Cloud. And this is our agenda today. We will basically walk through the OpenAI, what it is, and a cost implication of using OpenAI. We will walk you through the strategies to optimize the OpenAI cost, and we'll walk through what exactly is an OpenAI API. Dudi is going to walk you through the pricing model, how do we do the billing. At the end, you will see a live demo of a Azure OpenAI billing and essentially a governance and a cost recommendations. So with that, we'll go to the next slide and dive deeper into it. So first of all, let me talk through who we are, right? We are a top global cloud partner. We have a AWS advanced partner, and we are an Azure expert partner. Now with that, we have achieved those goals with number of numerous certifications, and we have executed projects 400 plus with customers, and we are a born in the cloud company. Essentially, we work with the startup companies. We are digital native, and we are focused on startup companies with a mindset we are enabling them. We provide global support excellence. And our excellence model is at top of the tier with 10 minutes average response time. We have a high response from our customers who basically give us recommendations for all the services we provide. Next slide, please. So let's dive deeper into the Azure OpenAI. What is an Azure OpenAI? Azure OpenAI is a managed service developed in collaboration between Microsoft, and it's essentially used to build and deploy large language models. Now, OpenAI, what benefit does it provide to the customer? It basically allows you to use Microsoft services such as GitHub Copilot, Power BI, Designer, and Office 365 in a way that enables your business and to make it easy for you to consume the AI services and scale them to the production volume. Next slide, please. So what's the problem with using all the OpenAI service? Customers use the OpenAI. Most of the time, they want to ensure that the costs are limited as well as to the budgets and the monitoring that we have set up in the Azure. Now, one of the challenges with OpenAI is that there is no start and a stop button. So essentially, you have to ensure that you have put in the right best practices and the controls to ensure your OpenAI costs do not go out of control. So that's the problem statement we will solve for you today. Next slide, please. This is an architectural strategy approach to optimize your OpenAI cost. What this is showing you is that we have any infrastructure that you build out, to use OpenAI, let's have an API management service. What does API management do? Basically, API management will mediate your invocation of OpenAI service across different zones, different regions, and it ensures that anything that you're calling is authenticated using appropriate authentication services. So that's the second strategy to pursue. Now, in all along the lines, you want to ensure that you are logging and tracking your tokens that is being used for OpenAI. You want to make sure that you're understanding the pricing model for all the OpenAI services that you use. You want to monitor your cost. You want to monitor your storage solutions. You want to ensure that you optimize your token usage and implement a rate limiting feature. You will see in the next slide how do you actually implement the rate limiting feature. The other piece is most important is the securing your API key. If you have somebody else who is using your API key, it is likely that your cost may overrun because of somebody's hacked into your environment. Next slide, please. So these are the rate limiting best practices. Essentially, you want to ensure that your resource count is per region limited to what's recommended. You want to set the max and the minimum token based on the use case. As I mentioned, you use per region model, set the request per minute to 6 RPM per 1,000 tokens per minute, manage your quota in a way that's basically a representation of your workload or the model you're planning to use. Use different workload increasing pattern, and implement a retry logic within your application in a certain way that you're using the retry wisely and it doesn't go out of control. The last you can do is provision throughput. Azure OpenAI allows you to basically provision your throughput based on a calculator, and you will see that in a further demo as well. With that, I will hand it off to Dudi, who is going to walk you through the details of each and every best practices I spoke through. Dudi, back to you.
Thank you, Amir. Thank you very much for your insight presented. In my part, I'm going to talk about Azure pricing and Azure how to reduce pricing, and actually how we can figure out what we're paying for. First thing that you need to know, Azure OpenAI, it's expensive service. It's if we're talking about if we're talking about the pricing model, actually Azure OpenAI based on a token. What is a token? Think about token is equal to average to 4 English characters. You charge by the prompt token and the completion token. The cost token unit cost is based on 1,000 tokens. So for example, you can see here on the pricing sheet. Once you buy a higher context, the pricing token is double accordingly. For example, if you charge by 3.5 turbo token, the price is 0.0015, and if you go into the contract of 16K, the charge is 0.003. How to understand my Azure OpenAI billing? This is like more of a general question, how to understand Azure billing, but we're focusing on Azure OpenAI. Azure Cost Management is like a great tool to understand your usage and what's going on based on your resource level and subscription or tagging strategy that you apply in every Azure resources. But once you want to understand what I'm billing for based on my usage behavior, here you need to drill down in more like drill down analysis of that Azure supply to you. And this report's called usage and charge report. This is, I think, for my opinion, it's a necessary report to understand how you use your token, because in Azure cost management, you see only the cost and not the usage of your token. Once you want to understand if you want to purchase commitment, to understand that you over the budget or below the budget, that you once you set up the cluster of the Azure OpenAI. So how you get this usage and charge report? In Azure Cost Management, you go to the usage and charge type. You select the relevant months. Please do remember that this data is updated once in a day. Customer that coming from AWS that used to the billing data is coming from like once in an hour. Here it's more about like once in a day. And then you can click over it, like prepare the document, and the spreadsheet will be downloaded to your local computer. How this spreadsheet look like and what we can get from there. Okay, guys, so I prepared in advance a data from a real customer. This is the demo data. That here I can show you how you can analyze your usage in data and to actually see what is the quantity of the token that you are really using. So here you see a lot of rows and a lot of lines, seems like a mess. The really important things that we need from that spreadsheet is the date, the meter category, and here we can filter by the cognitive services, and the meter name. This is like the line item of each of type of OpenAI services. Here is the quantity. This is like the actually quantity of the token you are already like billed for, and the cost. This is the pricing. This is the unit price. It's actually pretty much important to understand what type, how you build by your pricing model. For example, for 3.5 turbo token in East US, you are paying 0.002. And another thing that it's also important to take into the pivot table, it's the unit measure and the resource group. If you want to filter and build perspective by that, you can also add the region and the subscription and things like that. But this is like the most important thing. I already rebuilt a pivot table based on that metrics, and I create like the whole month's calculation based on usage hour, and cost. This is like the metrics. It is like the token, and here you can see a couple of things. First of all, in each of OpenAI, you have a different pricing model. So here you can see like the differences of what you are paying for based on the token itself, and you have the cost. And this is like reflecting. If you multiply the pricing model per the number of the token, you can find the cost of it. So if you're looking like based on 1 month, you can see that in this demo we have days that we have like a low peak, for example, below 100,000 token, and a high peak. It's like above 1 million token per day. And actually, this is the pricing model. And we can also build a KPI based on that. If we divided the number of token divided by the pricing, we have like what we are paying for, what model we are paying for the most, based on 1,000 token. For example, 1,000 token in certain day, the cost was below 0.024, and so on. And by analyze that, we know the behavior of the token usage. And then by that, you can analyze and understanding if you want to make a commitment. Because if we have like a low peak and a high peak, we need to find the positive ROI. And I think this is the most important thing, that we know how to analyze our usage, and we can play with the perspective based on subscription, based on resource group, based on tagging, or whatever that you have. But from that example, we can determine what commitment we want to do with Azure representative. And we don't want to be over commitment, and we don't want to be below the commitment. We want to get like the positive ROI that gives us the best pricing that we can get. This is, I think, all the how we can analyze the usage and cost and usage data. And let's go back to the slide again. So, recommendation. First step is the visual, the data itself, and understand what you are paying for. This is the first step that we're doing on the live demo. This is a crucial part to understand your usage and behavior. It's related to created a budget alert and a budget and forecasting before you going into the creating the model. Once you have a budget alert, we'll never be surprised about the charging, because once you get the notification about that, you can drill down if you have any issue with the amount of the API call and on the prompt or completion and things like that. Use the right model, and we see in the spreadsheet we have a chat, we have a 3.5 and 4 and 16K and 32K. If you don't need more than 4K text, please choose that, because once you're paying for 60K, your price will be double. Caching. Implement caching strategy is I think it's a great way to avoid repetitive requests to OpenAI. Once you have like a repeating request to your API, if you implement the caching, you reduce the amount of data that your prompt are using. Optimized token usage. Keep close on how many tokens each request are used. If you see that you can use token more efficiently, this is like we're going back to the first part. Once we understand how many tokens we are using, and we forecasting like lower amount of token that goes through our APIs, and we need to understand what is the problem and how we can make it more efficient. And volume discount and commitment plan. This is like, I think, the best pillar of how you can reduce the amount of recharge based on the token. If we contact Azure representative, they can offer us a commitment based on our usage. Just keep remember that in most cases they are offer you a commitment based on an hourly usage. So if you have a peak, or let's say on the middle of the week you're using more of the of the usage of the Azure OpenAI, and the end of the week the service go down, most likely it's not going to be the best offer for you. So it's something that you need to understand how to analyze that, something that we do on the demo itself, and then see that the offering that AWS based on the commitment will be fit for your needs. I think that's basically it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Hemant, do you want to say something to the end?
Dudi, thank you again. Thanks everyone for joining. And if you have questions, we have a barcode for you in the next slide. Feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to take any questions and help you through the journey of using an OpenAI and rein in on the cost and any capacity constraints you may have. So thanks again for joining, and you have a wonderful day.